Hey everyone, this is Lomi, and today I'm doing a little experiment in making a wig for Arrios. I'm pretty much remaking his old wig with alpaca instead of synthetic fiber. When I made a short wig for Vaughn, one of the issues I encountered was how long it took to blend the cut fibers together. It's just not practical to only use the naturally tapered ends, so I wanted to find another option. So instead of making and using wefts like I did for Vaughn, I'm making this wig for Arrios using loose fiber glued directly onto the wig cap, and I'm cutting the fibers before I glue them on. There are a few pieces that are a little thin at the tips, so I'll leave them longer and trim them a bit later on. Though these fibers are all cut, applying them directly lets me do two things. I can move the fibers in my fingers before applying them, which lets me vary the lengths of the strands. But it also means that I can shift the hairs with the paintbrush while I'm brushing on the top layer of glue. Using upward strokes helps move the cut hair and create a more natural blend. One cool outcome of this method that I noticed right away is how it lets me blend colors of fiber too. The locks I dyed for this took the dye darker at the tips and are more of a golden brown toward the top. But layering bits and pieces of the golden hair in with the darker stuff creates some really interesting highlights. I thought they might make the color look patchy, but it actually looks pretty natural. I've made wefts for the very front, since it will be longer around his face and parted in the middle, but I'll apply short hair almost all the way to the front edge of the wig cap so that it will layer nicely, without visible glue. The wefts for the front will fit here, but this glue at the front is really thick and sticky, so I'll need to let it dry before I try to finish this front section. After it's had some time to dry, I'll cover the open front part with longer locks for a base layer, then use the wefts I created to make the front part. I sort the wefts to try to make them equally thick on both sides, but I think one weft is a lot thinner than the other three, so that'll need some work. I apply the wefts to the wig with the locks running opposite the direction I want them to lay, so that when I fold them over the right way when the glue is dry, the glued weft won't be visible. Once it's dried overnight, it's time to comb, trim, and style. I go over the whole wig with my comb first. Anytime you glue loose fiber directly to a wig, you end up with a lot of loose hair the comb will pick up. Once I think I have most of the loose hair out, it's time to trim the thin ends of the locks I deliberately left longer. I use both thinning shears and regular hair trimming scissors, depending on how much needs to come off in a particular area. No matter what I use for cutting though, I snip into the hairs parallel to the direction they run. This helps ensure I don't get any blunt or choppy ends. For the most part, his hair ended up pretty uniform. Once I'm happy with the length, I'll use the barrel of a curling iron to press the part in the front nice and flat. I don't want to straighten the front too much, because I really like the natural wave of these locks in this wig. To style it, I'll wet the hair with water and comb it to the shape I want. This helps me get out any tangles that might have formed while making the wig too. I feel like this is an important thing to do before going to town trimming, because once wet and combed, some of the locks I thought looked a bit blunt or choppy actually blend in beautifully and don't look out of place at all. To get the hair to dry in a way it will stay back from his face, I use some tiny clips on the front part, then use a blow dryer on low heat to remove some of the moisture. Last of all, to help it stay back long term, I use a bit of hair gel meant for humans. This gel is water-based, so if it gets on his face up, it won't hurt anything. And here's the end result. This was much faster to make than the wig I did for Vaughn, and I think it turned out pretty well. Leaving the natural wave in the alpaca locks gave it a lot of really interesting and realistic texture, I think. And the color variation adds a lot of interest. His hair is a little thin on the front right side of the part, so I'll probably add another weft there, just to help balance things out. But otherwise, I definitely think this experiment was a success. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.